What's the matter? The trigger too tight?
You've seen The Godfather countless times, but this film hides far more than it ever shows. The deeper you look, the more unsettling and brilliant it becomes. Fact 1. Darkness was a statement.
I'll give you anything you ask.
That I cannot do.
The film's heavy shadows were not a technical limitation. Cinematographer Gordon Willis deliberately underlit scenes. Faces are often half hidden in darkness. This was radical for Hollywood in 1972. Studio executives initially panicked. They feared audiences wouldn't see anything clearly. Francis Ford Coppola refused to change it. Darkness became a moral language. Power operates in the shadows. Truth is never fully visible. Characters conceal their intentions constantly. Light is reserved for innocence. As characters gain power, they lose light. Michael Corleone literally disappears into shadow. This visual shift mirrors his transformation. The audience absorbs this subconsciously. The film teaches you how to read it visually. Darkness becomes storytelling, not mood. Crime is never glamorized through brightness. Everything feels heavy and secretive. The style influenced decades of cinema. It redefined what prestige filmmaking looked like. Fact 2. Michael is the protagonist from frame 1.
I'm with you now. I'm with you.
The film appears to center on Vito Corleone. In reality, Michael is always the focus. He opens the film at Connie's wedding. He sits outside the family business emotionally. His clean uniform separates him visually. He insists he is not like his family. The story patiently contradicts him. Every major event pulls him closer. The camera increasingly isolates him. Dialogue shifts from explanation to command. By the midpoint, Michael stops reacting. He begins deciding. His voice lowers subtly. His posture becomes rigid. He stops blinking as often. These changes are gradual but precise. Coppola planned this arc meticulously. Michael's transformation is never rushed. The audience barely notices it happening. That is the trick. By the end, leadership feels inevitable. Tragedy replaces surprise. The film is not about crime. It is about inheritance. Power moves silently to the willing. Fact 3. Food always signals violence.
Right.
Food scenes are never casual in The Godfather. Meals precede major decisions. Oranges appear before death or betrayal. This was intentional visual shorthand. Coppola wanted ordinary life to feel dangerous. Eating represents comfort and tradition. Violence interrupts that comfort. The contrast heightens shock. The restaurant assassination is the clearest example. Michael eats before killing. The act feels ritualistic. Domestic space becomes lethal. Even family dinners carry tension. Food unites and threatens simultaneously. The Corleones bond over meals. They also plan destruction there. This reflects mafia reality. Crime is embedded in daily life. There is no separation. The audience feels this intuitively. Ordinary moments become suspenseful. Comfort never feels safe. Coppola trained viewers to watch plates closely. What looks harmless rarely is. Violence hides in routine. The film teaches paranoia through food. Fact 4. Vito speaks softly on purpose.
You were afraid to be my dad.
I didn't want to get into trouble.
I understand.
Marlon Brando's whisper was a calculated choice. It was not an affectation. Brando believed power did not need volume. Speaking softly forces others to listen. It creates intimacy and fear. Vito never raises his voice. He rarely finishes sentences. People lean in physically. This gives him control of space. Silence becomes dominance. Brando stuffed cotton in his cheeks. This altered his speech rhythm. It slowed everything down. Conversations feel ceremonial. This made Vito feel ancient and immovable. The performance rejected gangster cliches. Studio executives hated it initially. Coppola defended Brando relentlessly. The whisper became iconic. It reshaped crime performances forever. Power stopped being loud. Calm became terrifying. Authority felt inevitable. The Godfather did not need threats. His presence was enough. Silence became his weapon. Fact 5. The ending is a horror scene.
After we make the move to Nevada, you can break off from the Corleone family and go on your own.
The final sequence is structured like a horror film. Michael commits violence off-screen. Doors close slowly. Faces react without explanation. Sound is minimal and ominous. The baptism montage feels ritualistic. Life and death are intercut mercilessly. Michael never appears violent directly. Others carry out his orders. This distances him emotionally. The audience fills in the horror mentally. Kay's realization is the true climax. She understands too late. The door closing is the final image. It seals Michael's transformation. He becomes unreachable. Love is replaced by power. Domestic space becomes prison-like. The ending denies catharsis. There is no celebration, only quiet dread. Coppola wanted discomfort, not triumph. Evil succeeds calmly. The horror is not blood. It is inevitability. The film ends with silence, not victory. Fact 6. The wedding explains everything. The opening wedding is a narrative blueprint. Nearly every major character is introduced there. Relationships are established visually, not verbally. Power dynamics are shown in seating and movement. Vito receives people in a dark office while the party continues outside. Celebration and crime exist side by side. This contrast defines the entire film. The wedding shows how the family operates. Favors are granted like currency. Loyalty is established through obligation. Smiles mask transactions. Michael stands apart from the chaos. He explains his family as if they are strangers. This moment frames his denial. Connie's wedding becomes ironic. It celebrates unity while planting division. Every future conflict is seated here. The film teaches you how to watch immediately. You learn who belongs where. You learn who listens and who commands. Even minor characters reveal purpose. The scene is long by design. It trains patience. Nothing is wasted. The entire saga begins in plain sight. Fact 7. Michael rarely blinks.
Now, we insist it's a public place, a bar, a restaurant, some place where there's people, so I feel safe.
Michael's lack of blinking is not accidental. Al Pacino consciously reduced eye movement. This creates emotional distance. As Michael gains power, his face becomes rigid. Blinking signals vulnerability subconsciously. Removing it makes him unreadable. This change happens gradually. Early scenes show more warmth. Later scenes feel cold and fixed. His stare becomes authoritative. Other characters react differently to it. They hesitate more. Silence follows his gaze. Pacino understood body language deeply. Dialogue becomes secondary. The eyes carry intent. This technique makes Michael frightening. He never appears impulsive. Even when violent, he feels controlled. The audience senses calculation. Emotional access is denied. This creates tension without action. Power is communicated non-verbally. Few viewers consciously notice this. They feel it instead. Michael's stillness dominates scenes. Calm replaces emotion. Leadership looks lifeless. The transformation completes silently. Fact 8. Doors signal. Power shifts. Doors are used as storytelling devices. Who opens them matters. Who closes them matters more. Vito's door is always guarded. Michael's door becomes guarded later. Kay is allowed in early on. By the end, she is excluded. This visual language is consistent. Doors separate family from outsiders. They also separate truth from illusion. Kay's ignorance is maintained physically. Information exists behind closed doors. When doors close, power consolidates. The final door closing is the ultimate statement. Michael's world becomes sealed. Love is locked out. Business remains inside. Coppola uses architecture deliberately. Space reflects hierarchy. Rooms shrink as power grows. Michael's environment becomes claustrophobic. Control requires isolation. The audience feels shut out. We lose access along with Kay. This creates emotional loss. The film ends by denying entry. Power demands distance. Doors replace dialogue. The message is unmistakable. Fact 9. Violence is rare but final.
I do renounce him.
The Godfather uses very little violence overall. When it appears, it is decisive. There are no extended shootouts. Death comes suddenly and quietly. This makes each act feel permanent. Violence is not thrilling. It is disturbing and efficient. Coppola avoided spectacle intentionally. Killing is treated as business. There is no glory attached. Characters rarely react emotionally. This normalization is chilling. The audience is denied adrenaline. Instead, dread builds slowly. When violence happens, it shocks deeply. The horse head scene is brief but unforgettable. It works because restraint preceded it. Overuse would dull impact. Coppola understood this. Violence punctuates decisions. It is consequence, not entertainment. Each death alters the balance. Nothing resets afterward. The film refuses escapism. Actions linger morally. The audience remembers each killing. Finality replaces excitement. This realism deepens discomfort. Violence feels irreversible. That is why it haunts. Fact 10. Kay is the moral center.
My brother Fredo, this is Kay Adams.
Hi.
Kay is often overlooked as passive. In reality, she represents conscience. She asks questions others avoid. Her perspective grounds the audience. She exists outside the family logic. This makes her dangerous to the system. Michael must lie to keep her. Her disbelief mirrors ours. Each lie distances them further. Kay's power lies in observation. She sees change before others admit it. The film aligns us with her confusion. When she accepts Michael's words, we feel dread. Her hope becomes tragic. She wants normal life. The family cannot allow that. Kay's exclusion is symbolic. Morality cannot survive inside power structures. She is pushed out gradually. The door closes on her last. This is not accidental. Coppola uses her to measure decay. As Michael rises, Kay disappears. Love fades as control hardens. The family wins materially. It loses its soul. Kay is left with truth, but no access. Fact 11. Music replaces dialogue. Nino Rota's score often speaks when characters do not. Music carries emotional information silently. Themes repeat with subtle variation. Power is announced musically before visually. The main theme feels mournful, not triumphant. This signals tragedy from the start. Love and violence share melodies. This blurs moral lines. When Michael rises, the music grows colder. Warmth drains from arrangements. Instruments thin out deliberately. Silence often follows key musical moments. This forces reflection. The score guides interpretation subconsciously. Viewers feel shifts before understanding them. Coppola used music sparingly, but precisely. It never overwhelms scenes. Instead, it underlines inevitability. The baptism montage relies heavily on score. Music unites fragmented violence. It replaces dialogue completely there. Emotion is carried without words. This restraint was unusual at the time. Many films over-explain feeling. Here, music whispers truth. The audience listens without realizing. The score becomes a narrator. Fact 12. Vito rarely lies. Vito Corleone almost never lies directly. He speaks carefully and selectively. Truth is shaped through omission. This makes him trustworthy to others. People believe him instinctively. His reputation does the work. When he promises protection, it is sincere. This builds loyalty. Michael, by contrast, lies frequently. He lies to Kay repeatedly. He lies calmly and convincingly. This marks a generational shift. Vito uses silence. Michael uses deception. The difference is crucial. Vito's power is relational. Michael's power is structural. Trust erodes under Michael's leadership. Fear replaces respect. This is subtle but consistent. Characters interact differently with each man. Conversations with Vito feel human. Conversations with Michael feel transactional. The film never states this aloud. It shows it through behavior. This shift explains the ending's loneliness. Power gained through lies isolates. Truth, even partial, sustains connection. Vito's era ends quietly. Michael's begins coldly. Fact 13. Michael never celebrates. Michael never truly celebrates success. Victories are met with silence. His face rarely shows satisfaction. Even promotions feel empty. This contrasts with others' joy. Sonny laughs loudly. Vito smiles warmly. Michael remains composed. This signals internal cost. Power brings control, not happiness. The film reinforces this repeatedly. After major wins, Michael isolates. He retreats inward. Others approach him cautiously. Celebration feels inappropriate around him. This emotional vacuum grows steadily. By the end, joy has vanished entirely. The family celebrates his leadership. Michael does not. This disconnect is tragic. The audience senses loss before it's spoken. Michael achieves everything he denied wanting. He pays for it emotionally. The absence of celebration is the price. Coppola avoids explicit sadness. Instead, he shows emptiness. Silence replaces laughter. Power replaces warmth. Success becomes sterile. This makes the ending devastating. Winning feels like losing. Fact 14. The camera chooses sides. The camera often aligns with power. It frames authority from below. Characters with control are shot low. Those without are shot flat or high. This visual language is consistent. As Michael rises, angles shift. He is framed more dominantly. Kay is framed passively. Vito's early scenes feel balanced. Later scenes feel imposing. Coppola uses composition as commentary. The camera endorses authority visually. This makes power feel natural. Viewers accept hierarchy unconsciously. When Michael takes over, framing becomes rigid. Movement slows. Shots become more static. Control feels absolute. This shift is rarely noticed consciously. It works emotionally. The audience feels weight without explanation. Power settles into the frame. Freedom leaves it. Visual grammar replaces dialogue. Coppola trusted cinema language. He let images argue. The camera never argues with power. It submits to it. That submission is unsettling. Viewers are complicit. We see what power wants us to see. Fact 15, the title is literal. The title, The Godfather, is not metaphorical. It refers to spiritual authority. Vito is a godfather at the wedding. He dispenses favors like blessings. Obligation follows ritual. Power is sanctified. Michael inherits this role fully. The baptism scene makes it explicit. He becomes godfather twice over. Religious imagery reinforces legitimacy. Violence is framed as duty. Murder occurs under sacred vows. This collision is intentional. Coppola links faith and power. Authority cloaks itself in morality. The title reframes the story. This is not a gangster tale. It is about moral substitution. God is replaced by family. Ethics are replaced by loyalty. Ritual replaces conscience. The audience is forced to reconcile this. The title tells the truth quietly. Michael becomes a godfather in every sense. Protector, judge, executioner. The cost is spiritual emptiness. Power wears holiness as disguise. The irony is complete. The name explains everything. Fact 16. Michael learns by watching. Michael rarely acts impulsively early on. He observes quietly. He listens more than he speaks. He watches how power is exercised. Vito teaches him without instruction. Meetings become lessons. Silence becomes education. Michael absorbs structure and consequence. He learns when to wait. He learns when to strike. This apprenticeship is invisible to most viewers. Sonny acts loudly and fails. Fredo hesitates and collapses. Michael studies and adapts. His intelligence is patient. He does not challenge authority openly. He replaces it methodically. This is why his rise feels inevitable. He understands timing. He understands restraint. Observation becomes his weapon. Action is delayed until necessary. This makes him more dangerous. The film rewards patience over aggression. Power goes to the watcher, not the talker. Michael's stillness is preparation. By the time he acts, it is already decided. Fact 17. Sonny had to die. Sonny's death is thematically necessary. He represents uncontrolled emotion. His temper drives every mistake. He reacts before thinking. This makes him predictable. The enemy exploits this easily. His murder is brutal and chaotic. It contrasts sharply with Michael's killings. Sonny dies in public rage. Michael kills in private calm. The film presents this as evolution. Violence becomes efficient. Emotion becomes liability. Sonny could never lead long-term. His style invites destruction. The toll booth scene is shocking for a reason. It eliminates passion from leadership. After Sonny's death, the family changes tone. Loudness disappears. Silence takes over. Michael fills the void immediately. The film never suggests another option. Sonny's fate is sealed by his nature. This is not punishment, it is inevitability. In this world, emotion is weakness. Sonny's heart makes him human. It also makes him expendable. The story demands colder power. Fact 18. Michael wins by isolation. Michael's greatest strength becomes isolation. He cuts himself off emotionally. Relationships become tools. Trust is limited and conditional. This allows control. Others cannot manipulate him easily, but it also destroys intimacy. Every decision distances him further. He stops seeking approval. He stops explaining himself. Orders replace conversations. This makes leadership efficient. It also makes it lonely. The film visualizes this repeatedly. Michael is often framed alone. Rooms feel empty around him. Even allies keep distance. Isolation becomes armor. Nothing penetrates it. But armor also traps. Michael cannot escape his role. The family gains stability. Michael loses connection. The trade-off is never questioned. Power requires separation. The film shows this without commentary. Winning isolates by design. Michael accepts this silently. He believes it is necessary. That belief completes his transformation. He becomes untouchable. He also becomes unreachable. Fact 19. The film never judges you. The Godfather never tells the audience what to feel. It presents choices without commentary. Sympathy is allowed, not directed. Viewers often admire Michael unintentionally. The film lets this happen. It trusts the audience. Moral clarity is never handed out. This creates discomfort later. When admiration turns to horror, it's too late. The audience has already followed Michael. This complicity is intentional. Coppola wanted reflection, not instruction. The film mirrors real power structures. People follow strength first. Consequences arrive afterward. The lack of judgment makes the story powerful. Viewers argue about characters decades later. That debate is the point. The film remains alive through disagreement. Certainty would kill it. Ambiguity sustains it. The story adapts to each viewer. What you notice says something about you. The film never corrects you. It simply shows outcomes. Judgment is outsourced to time. That is why it lingers. You are left to reconcile your own response. Fact 20. The ending locks forever. The final door is more than a visual. It is a permanent boundary. Michael's life splits completely. Family and power cannot coexist. The door closes on Kay. It also closes on innocence. From that moment, reversal is impossible. The film offers no hint of redemption. There is no sequel hook emotionally. Michael has arrived where he was headed. The transformation is complete. Silence replaces dialogue. Distance replaces love. Control replaces warmth. The audience is denied comfort. We are not allowed back inside. The story ends by excluding us. This is deliberate. Power does not invite witnesses. It seals itself off. The ending feels final because it is. Michael's fate is sealed psychologically. Everything after is maintenance. The door closing is the true climax. It resolves the film's thesis. Power costs access. Authority demands isolation. Love is collateral damage. The final image teaches without words. You understand what Michael has become, and you understand what he has lost.